G'day guys, so I thought I'd put together an instructional video of a construction kit. These are the easy to assemble, so that's the E2X as shown on the packet there. This is Mix It Up. This is from Hearns Hobbies in Melbourne, Flinders Street. This one cost me $24.95. Along with that, I also went there to purchase some new engines, C65s, and I bought 2 packets of those. So we're going to start off with real basic, how to construct one of these. So this is exactly the packet. I've already cut it open and I'll now remove all the contents. So that's your cardboard. We don't need that. You can have that as a thing as to what it looks like at the end. But anyway, here is our instruction manual. It's usually 2-4 pages long, both sides. So we'll start from the front. Our rocket tube, set of stickers, what looks like the engine bay, a nose cone, fins, parachute, and usually the information on the rockets. And last but not least, the good old information packets that they give you, rockets, hobbies, all that. So that's the packet gone. Okay. So we always start off with the nose, the body tube, and then we'll get the rest of this stuff out. So for the time being, should have grabbed a knife, I'll grab a knife. Okay, so don't do like me and have a cutting board and a knife, but anyway, I just find it's easier to do it that way. I can place the knife safely away while I'm doing it. And we'll also open up the engine bay one as well. I just have a nice really sharp knife and I like using it. So on the first page of our instruction booklet or instruction pad, it shows us exactly what we should have. So you go through it, you've got your nose cone, insert your nose cone, your body tube. So we've got our body tube. Let's open this one up. Put that bag there. Then we've got our nose cone. We've got our 3 fins there, 2 and 3. So I'll place them there for now. We have our parachute pre-attached. I've noticed these have recently been coming pre-attached with the string. We have our shock cord, elastic shock cord. I'll leave the parachute in there for the time being. And we have our warranty, basically just defects, so anything wrong with the actual product. Stickers. Okay, now we'll open up our engine packet and we'll see the nose cone insert, that one there, and the 3 pieces, the fin mounts, which are the bottom here. They're the fin mounts. 3 of those. Our 2 lower rings, an upper and a lower ring, and then of course your engine cap here, so your engine will actually sit in there and lock into place. Okay, also on the actual instruction pad it has this. This is actually an attachment that goes inside the body tube. It's actually to hold the shock cord. I find it's just easy to use another piece of paper or something, but you can make a copy of that and you fold it over. So, nice and simple guys, is assembling the fin mount is the first position. So these are our fin mounts. We're going to assemble these together. So I use Revel Contactor Professional. It's really good glue. It's good for model hobbies, model trains, rockets, a lot of other stuff. So what we'll do is we'll start off at the start. So apply the plastic cement in the grooved channels, it says, which is always an interesting thing to say why it says it. So apply it in the groove channels. So we're going to apply it in the groove channels here. And here in the groove channel here. Okay. Do that with the next one. And down the bottom. I like this glue because it has the nice metal tip. It's a lot easier to get into access of hard areas. Sometimes you can use any type of glue. I actually use super glue on one of my rockets. Did work, but doesn't last as long. So its first maiden voyage, it actually broke. So then we apply plastic cement to the raised parts, it says here. So these raised parts here. Just on one side each, I believe. And this one here. So the raised parts there and there on each of the rockets. Okay, now we place the upper ring, which is the notched ring. So I'll just pick that up and show it to you. So it's got the little notches in it versus the other ring that doesn't. And we're going to place the upper ring notches, and we're going to align those notches with the actual tabs. So there's a little tab inside there. Nice and simple. Places that straight in there. And we'll get the lower ring and we'll just place that in place as well. Sorry, so hands are sticky. I normally have paper, tissue paper or something to clean the hands quickly. I don't have it at the moment, so I'm going to use something a little bit unorthodox, and that's toilet paper. Doesn't matter, it's just toilet paper. So place the upper ring, which is the notch in the upper channel, and the lower ring in the lower channel of one fin mount. So that's the actual fin mount. This is one of the fin mounts. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab the next one, and you're going to carefully place that one together into that one, and then you're going to get the last one, and you're going to carefully as well place that one into place there. Not too hard, not too difficult. The notches don't actually line up, but the ring does. So the ring's the actual centering. Then you can get a little bit more glue if you need be, just on the edges, especially those points of contact where it actually says that it's the raised part. So I believe the middle one's probably the best to add a little bit to. I'm just adding a little bit to the end as well. So I'm just going to let that stand up like that now. Hopefully that's all solid. When you've got a 3-piece, it is good to actually have 3 fingers or 4 fingers. The 2 at the bottom, hold it there, and you can actually press them all into fit so they actually fit. You can look along the top to make sure it all lines up. So inside there's the 2 rings in there, they made them line up. That little notchy thing there, that's actually so that it launches on our launch pad. So okay, so as soon as you've done that, you let that dry. So we'll let that dry and we'll come back. Okay guys, so I just noticed while I was letting the fin mount and rocket engine mount dry, inside here there's a bit of a lipped edge where the rocket engine sits inside. Where the joins are, I just added a bit more glue in here. I don't know how well you can see this, but basically in there and there and there where the joins are, just along that lipped edge, just add the line of glue. Just basically because this is the worst part of the engine, the whole rocket, it can fall apart if it's not glued properly, and being that the fins will all get glued in here as well, just holds it for when it actually connects to the rocket and we glue it all together. Okay guys, so again I'm still letting this dry, we'll be back. Okay guys, so I've left this for about 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be 10 minutes, it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit less. If you've got a bit of time or if you're doing something else, by all means leave it for a bit longer. So we can let it fully dry, which is fine. You can leave it overnight if you really want to take your time, that's fine. What I wanted to do was I wanted to get a bit of the show on the road, so we'll continue on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to attach the body tube, which is pretty simple. We're going to do a line of glue around this, and then we're going to shove it up there, and that's it. Basically we'll let that dry straight away. So I'm going to do a line of glue all around, just making sure there's enough coated, and then I'll do the inside of the tube, a nice line of glue around there as well. So you don't have to have too much, as long as it's coated enough. When you do it, rotate it in, otherwise the glue will go everywhere. Wipe away the excess, as always. Have your tissue paper handy, or in this case for me, I've got my toilet paper. Make sure it's positioned enough and appropriately. And then sit that upright and let it set. That's it. While we're doing that guys, we can actually do something else. So we can do the nose cone. It is only 1 piece, it's pretty simple. Basically 2-piece part to the nose cone. You don't have to do anything, so grab your nose cone piece here, glue around the edge of the nose cone. Again, line of glue, got to be sufficient to hold up to the strenuous of when the actual rocket deploys its parachute, and in which case the nose cone does actually explode. Well, not explode as you may think, but ejects itself out. Wipe the excess there, place it back down, and just leave that one to dry as well. So guys, we've got the nose cone, we're going to leave that to dry. We've got the motor mount slash fin mount in the body tube, we're going to leave those both to dry. I'd suggest at least 20 minutes, okay? The nose cone, you can leave that for a bit, so you can leave that. As for this one, because we're going to go to the next stage, to let it dry properly, about 20 minutes. Come back in 20 minutes. Okay guys, so I've let this dry for about 20 minutes. What I'm going to do now is I've had a look at it, just make sure it's all set properly, and we're going to start attaching the fins. Just while I do, I did notice also while I was letting it dry, is the actual distance around the fin between the nose cone and the actual, sorry, not the nose cone, the body tube and the engine mount, was there was a tiny bit of a gap. So I just put a line of glue around the edge of that just to make sure that it's properly sealed. It doesn't have to be properly sealed, but at the same time it does have to be pretty well glued in. So that's what I've done. Now we're going to attach the fins. So these fins are pretty simple. They're a plastic moulded fin. Each of them are exactly the same, apart from the colourings on these ones. So 3 fins, 3 lines of glue. So basically what you want to do first is you want to test fit the fin before gluing them in. So you grab the fin, and there's a nice little slot in the side there. Just going to test fit it by pushing it in and making sure it lines up pretty well. As you can see there, it lines up pretty well. And you can hold that in place, or you don't have to have it. You just remember that you put one in that hole so that you know that you can test fit each of the fins separately. And then just go on checking each fin, making sure that it lines up nice and evenly. And then you can take that one out and then test fit the third fin, just to make sure they will fit properly in, so that when you do glue them. Okay, so each of the fins do fit well. So I'm going to start off with the fin I've just done into the hole there. So with fins, cover completely in glue. I know it sounds weird, but it's easier. So the edge of the fin there, and you glue along the edge, inside there, both sides of the tab, on the edge there, on the edge, and again both sides of the other tab there. Liberally yes and no, don't apply too much so that it's absolutely drowning in glue, but enough that you know it's going to stick properly. So I'm going to place this one in here. I'm just making sure that it's going to be set properly. You can usually tell where it's going to wobble by using a bit of an eyesight rule. And just sit that there for a minute if you need to, and hold it in place for about a minute. I blow on it to dry. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, you can, you don't have to. You can see straight away where you'll need more glue, so you can do that later, or you can do that straight away. I'm going to do that later, so I'll show you that step later. It's pretty easy. Basically, once that one's done, I've got grooves in my board, in my cutting board, so I'm actually going to sit the rocket in the groove, sitting it pretty upright, keeping it dry there. So I'm going to leave that now to dry. So each fin, maybe 10-15 minutes at a time, okay? So we'll do the first fin, come back and do the next fin. Okay guys, so that's that fin dry, so pretty simple. Gonna go to the next fin. So I'm going to place that back. Yep, so it's nice and dry. So again, it's the exact same process. We'll grab our fin, liberally on the edge, apply the glue, and we'll tab on both sides of the tab. In the middle, and then the next tab, the same thing. Exactly the same as before guys, it's basically just, yep, next tab. Okay. Because I was working backwards, I remembered which fin went where, at least I hope I did. Again, same thing guys, try and line it up. I find placing 2 fingers underneath, and then sort of two fingers on the top, So you're pressing it, but not that much that it's actually providing too much pressure. Just enough to sort of set it in place. And you can usually tell by now where the fins are going to go and sort of if they're in line or not. So that one's pretty simple. Just making sure that it's got a nice line up there, which it has. Same thing again, I'm going to sit it there, but try and sit it on the straight again, so that it actually does still dry upright. So keep going with that one. So again, add another 10 minutes. I'm actually just going to add a little bit of glue here because I've seen a bit of an issue around the front. Doesn't seem to be as much glue on the front, so single line of glue on either side. Nice and simple, guys, that's it. We'll keep that, again, another 10 minutes or so, that'll be dry. We'll come back in 10, we'll do the third fin, go from there. Okay guys, so it's been about 10 minutes, that's the second fin done. We're just going to go on to the third fin, and then basically we're going to leave it like that. So we want to make sure the two bottom fins are actually set when we do the top one. You can do it either way, but the best way I've found is actually to have a lift edge on your board so that there's not too much pressure on those two when you do the top one and then set it up. Just like that, so it hangs off the actual edge. So again, same thing. Sit that there for a minute, grab the fin, liberally apply glue, enough to fully coat the edge and the tab, both sides, space in the middle, and again both of the sides on the tabs. Most rockets are fairly similar when they have the pre-cut laser tabs, which are these ones. They're pretty easy to do. Okay, now what we're going to do, again, same thing, in the tab, 2 fingers underneath, a few fingers on the top. Hopefully it lines up pretty well, which it's looking like it has. Just again, holding it in place for those crucial few moments. Basically what happens if you don't hold these in place and they don't set straight, it's not too hard, mind you, to set them straight, is that when the rocket does fly, it may fly a bit off course, it may fly a bit to the left, a bit to the right, it may not even go up straight at all. Most of the times though, they will go up pretty well, pretty straight. You just got to watch your eyesight and keeping it in line, as you can see by the way it is. So that's now tacky. I'm now going to leave that in place. Just going to check on our books. So it's basically attaching the fins, test fit each fin, so checking the alignment 120. Make sure the glue is dry, and then we attach the engine cap. So that's this piece here. So what we'll do now is, like it said, we'll make sure that it's dry before we do that. So I'm going to leave this now again for another 10 minutes. What I might just do though is I just noticed again there's not too much glue around the top. And I like there to be enough because I don't want these to be coming off either mid-flight or at recovery stage. I'm just going to do another line of glue on each side. And I'll leave that to dry. So again guys, about 10 minutes and we'll go from there. So next thing, after we've done that and we've attached the end cap for the time being, is we'll do the shock cord. Now what I did was I got a bit of scrap sheet of paper. I've just cut out the basic sheet from where it is. There you go, real basic piece of paper that just copy off there. That'll be the shock cord. So wait for the rocket to dry, give that the whole thing about 20 minutes so that you can actually knock it around a little bit but not too much. And then we'll go to the shock cord, nose cone and the parachute. Okay guys, so I'm sorry about the audio before. My camera's decided to pack its microphone up. It should be working in now. So I've used a hot glue gun, as you could see previously. Pretty simple. You put hot glue in the middle, quickly fold it over, squish that a little bit more, fold that one over, put it inside there about 4 centimeters down. That works really well. You can use PVA wood glue. That works extremely well. This glue does not work for paper to paper, paper to cardboard. So try not to use it when you're doing paper to paper or paper to cardboard, which is the only connection you'll need for down inside the barrel. You want to put that one down about 4 centimeters down. So what I did was I used our little template there. I just drew up another one, basic one, folded it up. I'll fold it over with the glue inside, and then again another layer of glue. Then what you want to do is you want to bend it against your finger as I showed. Place it in there when you've got the hot glue on it, and pressure it on both sides, so you're using pressure against one finger against the other so that it's stuck, and it's pretty good. That's all you need. Okay, so I do apologize for the audio there guys. Please ask me a question if you do need to see anything about that. It is pretty simple. PVA just takes its time, so if you're using PVA, do your one fold over the shock cord, then do your other fold, then leave that to dry as the tab, maybe about 15 minutes I think for PVA, and then again place it around your finger so it creates a nice little semicircle curve so it fits inside the rocket. Nice line of PVA inside there, place it in there, hold it in there, probably use something else to hold it so you don't get PVA all over yourself. Stick it, use your pressure again for about the 10 minutes and maybe even 2 minutes for you to just apply pressure, then leave it for about 10, 15, even 20 minutes, and that's your shock cord done for your PVA. It does work well. I use the hot glue gun because I do like using a bit of hot glue every so often. It just tends to make a better connection, and it's hot glue, so again, it actually fuses things a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the next thing. We're going to get the nose cone and the parachute up and at them. So there's our nose cone with our previously glued nose cone assembly, as we know. So we're just going to get our parachute out of our bag here. I'm going to open that now. Shouldn't be waving a knife around, so yes, I know, unsafe. Get our parachute out. Okay, so parachute, these are only plastic, as you can already understand. Unfold it carefully, make sure it's all there. Nice size parachute these are. They're only a basic parachute. Once you get into the more top level rockets, you do want to have an actual fabric parachute. But in the meantime, these aren't too bad to use for the miniature rockets. These will last you if you take care and you don't pull on the strings and do all that sort of stupid stuff. Make sure that the strings are all attached, all the points are attached. Then grab the point of it, just flatten it, fold it back upon itself, then sort of make it so that it's a bit more of a circle. Then you've got your ends, okay? So you want to grab your ends, and you're going to attach your ends to the nose cone itself. So we're going to wrap our ends, we're going to go through the nose cone. We're just going to tie them off. Real basic, real simple. You can put a bit of glue on your knots. Either way, I just do a double knot, and I've found I haven't had any issues with a double knot. But again, if you want to, put a bit of glue in your knots, just inside your knots, and they won't break. But in saying that, if you do put glue inside your knots and you find you ever have to go and put a new parachute on, you might find it a bit more difficult, but you can easily cut them off. Okay, so that's that done. That's pretty simple. The nose cone works as its weight. There it is, nice and simple, and that'll work with the parachute. Then your shock cord will also go through your nose cone, through the hole, same thing. And you want to double knot that as well. So you're going to do a double knot for that. Now I've just done this the wrong way around, but don't worry, there's no real right and wrong way. Again, nice, simple double knot. Truckee knots, all those bloody knots, they're all but awesome and stuff, but you don't need anything too fancy for these. Just a double knot is fine. So there you go. You can cut off the end if you wish, which I am going to do because I don't like to have much hanging out. But that's all you need, okay? Don't worry about a little bit, like a half an inch, whatever it is. it doesn't matter that you've just cut a little bit off. The shock cord is fine, as long as basically you've got all your entire parachute. Now what we do is you prepare your flight recovery. So what we do is we have recovery wadding, as you all might know by now. When your engine is exhausted, excuse me, when your engine is exhausted, what's called an ejection charge is what causes the parachute and the nose cone to actually jump out of the actual body of the rocket. And the ejection charge basically works real simple, just basically a fire. Now this is recovery wadding. It is not expensive, but basically it's like tissue paper, but it's not flammable. It does burn, but it's not flammable. So it actually tells you on each rocket how many sheets you should use. And in case you're wondering, that is not a sheet there. The sheets are perforated. So I'll just perforate a couple of sheets here, and you can see just how big a sheet is in a second. So I buy bulk packs of wadding. They're about $13 and it's about 70 to 80 sheets. Now you can use other items. I used to use tissue paper, tissues, but again, that all does light on fire, and you may even get a fire in your rocket. So up in the sky, when it does do its whole recovery and shoots it out, you'll get a flaming fireball up the top, and sometimes you can damage the parachute, you can damage the nose cone, you can even damage the entire rocket. So you want, for this rocket, we want about 3 to 4 squares, so I've actually got 3.5 squares, as you can see. So this is pretty simple. You don't scrunch it in any way, shape or form. You literally just push it in with the finger, and each piece in turn, just to push it down, being careful to make sure the shock cord is always up properly so that it's not tight. And the fourth one, again, same thing, little tiny bit of a scrunch, that's all you need, okay? Make sure your shock cord's up the top. Then we grab our parachute. Now that we've put our 4 squares of recovery wadding in, we're going to fold our parachute over, and then we're going to bend it around. Now what you want to do with your parachute is you grab your leads and you wrap it around them loosely. That may not be so loose, but that's okay. And you place your parachute straight down the guts, and you leave about that much. Then you grab your shock cord and you carefully place your shock cord in. I find doing this on a bench works really well. Then all you have to do is twist your nose cone a little bit. And we're nearly there, because the 4 centimeters is where your nose cone sits in your aircraft. And that's it. So that's it. Now you'll see here, I've actually already stuffed up. On the edge, you can see how there's an actual edge here. I understand straight away why I've stuffed up here. This is why you shouldn't put your shock cord right up the top. So my shock cord is actually too far forwards. I'm going to have to take it out. I'm not going to do that. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to leave it like that. So that's all that I'm going to do. I stuffed up there, so like I said, 4 centimeters down. I think I've only put mine down about 2 centimeters. Again, I've used hot glue. If you've got PVA and it's only just set, you might be able to push it down more. But again, guys, about 4 centimeters so that your nose cone sits properly on your rocket. Now while we're doing that, let's go and apply the decals. So you don't have to apply the decals. I do like to, because then I at least know what rocket I'm launching instead of a basic. It's got a name already. You don't have to worry about a name. So I'm only going to apply the name and the actual logo, which is the Estes logo, to my rockets. And at that, I'm going to put it on as a bit of an angle as it is, so I have a bit more fun. As you can see there, mix it up. That's the name of this rocket. As we mentioned earlier, mix it up. There we go. And I'm going to also put the Estes logo, I'm going to put that down the bottom. Also actually where the picture says. I don't mind where the picture says. I'm actually going to put it between the rocket and its booster. It doesn't really matter where you put your rockets. You can paint these. I wouldn't. They're already colourful. This is just a cardboard tube, as you know. If any of this cardboard tube lining comes up, you can use a little bit of glue to tab it back down. Find it's easier that way. There you go. There's your rocket. It's nearly done. So I'll just place that out of the way. Now what I'll do, guys, is I've got a sample rocket engine here that we're just going to test fit to make sure it fits properly. So when you do it, when you prepare your engine, don't put your igniter in first and then put your plug in. Do it like this. So there's your engine cap off. Grab your engine, your igniter is down the bottom, and your empty blank hole. This is a B64, so that's why it's got less ignition. Whereas the 6.5s and the C6.5s and the C6.7s are full right up to the brim. So you place the hole, the small hole, that goes to the bottom of the engine. Just doing a test fit there. Don't slide it in hard and just clip it in. There you go. That's the rocket prepared. What I'd then do if I was going to launch it is I'd place the igniter then using my hands on the actual igniter, on the fin holding. Place your igniter, punch a little cap in, and then place it on the thing, attach your wires, and off you go. So what we're going to do, guys, is that my next video is going to be the maiden launch of this. We may even do that today if I see fit. It depends on the wind. We'll see how we go. So, but in the meantime, when you're not launching a rocket, guys, leave your engines out. But whenever you're ready to launch a rocket, as you remember what I did, I've already put the recovery wadding on. So when you have your rocket ready to launch, like I've got Banshee here, the Banshee's undergone a bit of maintenance. She's had a bit of wing. So if I pull out my parachute, I've already got my recovery wadding in there. You may not be able to see that, but that's it. And I've also, that's how I wrap my shock cords sometimes. That's the way I do mine. It depends on the size of the rocket as well. So that's how Banshee is working. So Mix It Up is now my newest rocket. Banshee was a bit of a great attempt, but Banshee had a failure after the first launch. I used super glue for Banshee because I couldn't find my good contact professional glue. One of the fins actually nearly snapped off when it fell, so of course, easy option, take it back, fix it up. Hey guys, so thanks for watching this instructional video of how to make Mix It Up, so one of my newer rockets. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm sorry I'm always stuffing around with all these things, but we'll see how we go with it. The next video I'm going to try and upload is Mix It Up's maiden voyage. Launched perfectly. We used an Estes B6-4 engine. She launched really well, so we'll try and see how we go with that one. So enjoy it. Let's see what we can get up with. And hey guys, send me your videos if you want. I'll watch them. I'll learn stuff as well. And yeah, we'll go from there. Cool.